Ken Workington, thanks so very much, and welcome to the SNY Sam McKee Memorial Broadcast Center here on the first floor at Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment. I'm Dave Little, and sitting beside me in the Sulky tonight is Andrew McCarthy. Andy, thanks so much for being with us this evening.
Thanks for having me on, Dave.
You know, Andy, you're the leading driver here at the Meadowlands since you've returned on March the 16th with 18 winners and only 75 starts. Did you think that you'd be a little rusty when you got back?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect it to be quite this good. You know, obviously Ron Burke's given me a great opportunity driving his horses, and he's helped out a lot. And you know what, the timing was pretty good. I kind of come back the week that a few of the other guys headed across the river to race in the Levy and the Matchmaker.
All right, now let's get some biographical stuff out of the way. Obviously, that's not a New York accent we're hearing. That's an Australian accent. Yeah. You were raised in Brisbane?
Born in Bathurst until I was about 12. That's in New South Wales, and then we moved to Brisbane. Spent about 15 years up there, and then the family moved back down to Sydney. Just the racing seems to be a little better down there.
Now, a couple of generations of your family have been harness horsemen. You're a third generation?
Yeah, third generation.
And you raced at the age of what?
I started driving at the age of 16. You know, they've really got a good system in Australia for the kids. They get a concession, which means if you put a kid on, you can drop the horse down one class, and so it really gives the kids a chance, you know what I mean? And so it done pretty good when I was younger, and then when I turned 21, I moved over here.
All right, now you made a big contact. The contact was Noel Daly. How did you hook up with Noel in Australia, and why did he bring you to the States?
I actually met Noel through a mutual friend, Bruce Birch. He was over here working for Noel for a while and racing, and so met him around Christmas time one year. He was home, and you know, told him that I thought about coming over and whatnot, and he said, well, you know, if you want to come over, I've got a place for you to stay, and he gave me a car to drive, and took me right in, and you know, ever since then, I guess it's just snowballed.
Boy, talk about giving you a great start, and obviously to this day, you drive a lot of horses for Noel, including a horse last year who gave you your biggest career win ever.
Right, yeah, Caveat Alley winning the Jugette. That was just such a super thrill, and you know, I had mum and dad there and my family there, and it just meant so much to win a race like that, you know. Now,
last year was your best year. You earned over $5.5 million driving. How did you manage to do that? How did you get your stats to that level after, not meager beginnings, but clearly you really accelerated in a fast way?
Right, you know, I ended up getting some pretty good horses to drive. I picked up a few good ones, and I think I finally got to the stage where people consider me a good chance on their horses in the big races. You know, before I'd always get the good horses to drive when they'd ship them to Pocono and whatnot, and you know, I think they trusted me with their horses, just not maybe in the big races. And now it's progressed where they'll give me a shot in the bigger races.
All right, now obviously you won with Caveat Alley in the Jugette, and you beat Blazing Britches, who was the divisional champion. And also last year in the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes final, $250,000, you won with Pedro Hanover.
Yeah, that was a super 2 days. You know, Alley won on the Sunday, and I think Pedro won on the Monday. So. Yeah, that was very nice.
Now, Pedro Hanover, you told me yesterday, you think that this is a genuine Meadowlands pace contender, do you not?
I do. You know, he showed he's got some serious promise at 2. He, you know, he did look spectacular in a couple of his races, especially up there in Canada. He won the PA Sire Stakes. You know, if he comes back and he just gets a little bigger and stronger, he's going to be right there with the best of them.
Now, you earned, as I said, well over $5.5 million last year. You had a day-to-day grind at Pocono, but you did a lot of driving at the Meadowlands. Do you feel that helped you get a lot of opportunity on the Grand Circuit?
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Last year I made the call to stay at the Meadowlands on the weekend. I knew it was probably going to be a pay cut early on in the piece. You know, the Pocono was my bread and butter track, but I thought if I want to become a stakes driver, this is what I got to do. So I made the call and stuck it out here at the Meadowlands, and you know, obviously it paid off.
Now, finally, this evening, you have a horse, Elysium Lindy, who's in the 6th race, the Shyway St. Pat. Kind of a surprise winner last week at odds of 11-1 when Sutton didn't bring his best effort. Did you expect the kind of try out of Elysium Lindy that you got?
I did. You know, Burke's crew told me that they thought he'd be a lot better, and if you look down the page there a little bit, he was racing very good at Dover, and you know, you got to have faith in Ron Burke. When he thinks one's going to be better, they're usually better.
All right, so tonight you go up against Opulent Yankee, who was 1-5 last week and got run over by an express train by the name of Deep Impact, and Sutton, who did break stride when he came to the top of the stretch. Do you think that Opulent Yankee or Sutton could be a big threat to Elysium Lindy tonight?
Oh, absolutely. They're both great horses. It's I'm in a position there at the rail where I've got to see how many are pressing out of there, and you can't let those good horses get too far away from you. It's Opulent Yankee and Sutton. If he gets him ironed out a little bit this week, he's a terrific horse.
Is Elysium Lindy the type of horse versatile enough to maybe sit a 3-hole and then move to the lead down the backside?
I only drove him just last week, but I think he can do it either way. On the page there, he looks like he's very versatile. He can come from off the pace, or he can be up front. So.
Earlier in the interview, I alluded to the fact that you came back on March the 16th. Give us a quick wrap-up of your vacation. You went to France, Belgium, Sri Lanka, Australia, and Hawaii?
Yeah, we usually stop in Hawaii on the way home. It's halfway. It's a good way to break up for the kids, So this year we decided to do something different. I booked a flight to France, and then we had to figure out how to get home from there. So we looked at the world map, and Sri Lanka was halfway, so we said that'll do.
Oh, it sounds like a fantastic trip. Now, Andrew, before we let you go, this year the Meadowlands racing, obviously Friday and Saturdays. There are a lot of tracks in the vicinity that have greater purses. Will you be driving here on a full-time basis?
Yes, I'll definitely stay here on the weekends. Obviously until some stakes arrive, but definitely going to stick it out at the Meadowlands.
All right, great. Well, it's going to be great to see Andrew McCarthy driving full-time at the Meadowlands throughout the 2018 season, and maybe we'll see him on that Saturday night, Pedro Hanover in the Meadowlands Pace.
Let's hope so.
Andrew, thanks so much for being with us, and lots of good luck to you as 2018 progresses. When we come back after this, Dave Brower will take over for Andrew McCarthy. We'll give out this week's award winners and talk about tonight's featured races right after this.